Welcome to beautiful Long Beach, California for the men's NCAA Volleyball Championship. Two stalwart programs going head-to-head for the third time for this prestigious title. First up, Long Beach State at home, looking for their fourth championship. In 2018, they vanquished the Bruins to take their second title overall before going back-to-back. UCLA, the winningest program in men's college volleyball history, had to wait a long time, but last year they won their 20th overall title. Two wonderful teams, two wonderful programs, and two elite coaches going head-to-head today at the beach. Welcome live on a beautiful afternoon, the home of the Queen Mary, Long Beach, California, for the 54th Men's NCAA Championship, standing room only at the Pyramid. Long Beach State and UCLA got all this started back in 1970 when UCLA won their first ever title. And for the third time, they will play for the championship. Long Beach State taking on #1 seed and defending champion UCLA. Let's take a look at the brackets. The tournament was finally expanded to 8 teams, so we had traditional quarterfinals, all sweeps there. But the semifinals were an entirely different story. Incredible battles between UCLA and UC Irvine in 5 sets, and then Long Beach State came from 2 sets down to take out Grand Canyon. Spectacular volleyball on Thursday night, and we expect more of the same. With my partner, 2-time Olympian Kevin Barnett, I'm Paul Sunderland. Prelude, preview, Thursday night was some of the best volleyball I've seen in decades. Do you expect more of the same this afternoon?
Absolutely. Had the 4 best teams. Now we have the 2 best teams. And what the game has done is raise up over the last 2 to 4 years. I think because the access to the international video, players are playing at that pro level, and where you're really going to see it is in the defensive side of the game. The moves, the reads, the reacts, and longer rallies.
Lots of international emphasis or involvement in this particular match. Best all-around player, maybe in the entire standing room only building here at the Pyramid, is Ethan Champlin, 3-time All-American from UCLA.
And for you volleyball history buffs, I'm going to give you a pro analog. Samuel Poppy, cat-like speed and reflexes of Ethan Champlin. He's a student of the game, and it shows in his holistic approach. You get the tough serving, the steady passing, the quality defense you expect out of a top-quality outside hitter, but it's the variety of attacks, rolls, chops, pushes, and recycles that really separate him and take him to a pro-level completeness. On the other side, the sophomore, Skylar Varga, super physical and hugely important for Long Beach at that opposite position. He missed a lot of the fall with a knee injury, so I think he's just rounding into feeling like himself. 2 matches against UCLA, split. In the win, Skylar Varga hit 480. In the loss, he hit 103. I think he's got to play within himself early in this match. He also gives the Beach some very interesting reception possibilities.
Change in the starting lineup for Long Beach State. What do you make of this?
Hey, listen, Harlan is ready. Nathan Harlan has started 6 of the last 10 matches. He started 10 overall now with this one on the year. He knows how to fill this role. It's just a matter of options and weapons for head coach Alan Knight.
Was 8 of 14 was Harlan in their win, their comeback win on Thursday night. Coming in for Clark Godbold, the usual starter who's been nursing a bit of a knee. We understand that he is healthy, and we're set to go. Best 3 out of 5 sets. Darius McRaven, 6'5" middle blocker out of Hawaii, and Champlin right out of the chute. Bruins wearing their blue uniforms, Long Beach State in their home whites. Andrew Rowan will go back to serve, 6'6" sophomore out of Trabuco Canyon, California. First team All-American last year, was the newcomer of the year when he stepped in and won a national championship as a freshman for the Bruins. Back row combination, nicely dug by Matt Aziz. Chipanis is rejected. Saturis Chipani, 6'3" junior out of Cypress, California. 8 and white is rejected.
I have a few questions coming into this first set. Will UCLA get any return on their service risk in the semis? 4 aces on 24 errors. That's too much. I know Sprott tolerates it. I think it's way too much. Can Long Beach hold consistent offense against the Bruin block? They're going to need not to have a dip in the middle of this match. And then, when do the reserves make an impact? So Harlan and Godbold, that's just a flip of the normal role. You see one, you see the other in a reliever role. This is much like a starting pitcher and a reliever. On the Long Beach side, on the other side, you'll see the same exact thing. You have at starting Cooper Robinson, and then you're going to get the sub, Zach Rama, at some point. You know this.
Alex Knight, last year the most outstanding player in the national championship. This year, what a team player. As Merrick McHenry registers his first kill, a real high flyer, but Knight an interesting story. Now moving into the libero role.
But only half of the libero role, because
that's true.
They're going to have the two libero system the entire time on the UCLA side. Matthew Aziz, who you already saw make a fantastic dig in that left back, is playing right now on the defensive side.
Champlin back to serve, the three-time All-American that we talked about before first serve, had 19 kills on Thursday night in the semis. Over the top of the block, beautifully done, number 11. 6'7", Cooper Robinson, a redshirt sophomore out of Pacific Palisades, California.
Cooper Robinson has crafted himself into an exceptional attacker, played up a couple of years at the junior level, won a national title with the 17s when he was just a 16-year-old. Fantastic to see him get what just deserves from the hard work.
Mason Briggs, one of the best liberos in the business, with a perfect pass. And Chipani is able to rip through a seam in the UCLA block. UCLA is really long, really physical, really high flying. Does that give them a big advantage at the net?
I think it does, and that's shown up here and there. Against Long Beach, it was a tale of two nights. Their pins went absolutely off on one night when they won, and the next night couldn't do anything against the block. So it certainly matters, that matchup. I think this entire thing gets decided through the pins. I know you like the middle matchup. I do too, with McHenry and Torwey going head-to-head, a couple of huge high-flying hitters. But it's going to come down to who takes better swings, smarter swings, scoring attacks in transition at the pins.
Here is Merrick McHenry, 6'7", redshirt senior out of Bedford, Texas. Give you some of his numbers. Oh, my goodness gracious. Somebody check the floor. Simon Torwey, 6'10", 250 pounds.
And with two up, cuts it inside. You talk about all the power, range to go with it. And he is deadly from the service line.
That was a bomb. Couple of back-to-back service errors. Simon Torwey, as we mentioned, interesting story. We had a long conversation with him yesterday. Very, very sophisticated, smart young man. Born in Spain, but he's a German citizen. And I think Germany, which is already qualified for the Olympics, got to rethink. He's not in their plans right now, but if they saw that last swing, they might change their minds.
That deadline's coming up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Name their Olympic team here.
Ido David out of Israel, playing at the opposite. The opposite is kind of a story. Chipanis on the back row, quick. Very difficult play to defend.
On Thursday night, Chipanis started hot, cooled off, and then came back. We'll see if he can maintain consistency tonight.
Very good in ball control, good defender as well. Knight with the easy pass and serve. Dug by Knight. Transition swing opportunity for Harlan Roy. That's a really good play.
What that is fearless. That's what that is. You asked if he was ready. Yeah, he's definitely ready. And this tack will show you that. Ball coming over his shoulder at the net, 3 up. Just take a high, hard cut. Good things happen.
Aiden Knight back to serve, the son of the head coach. Played in 89 matches and 315 sets for his father. Oh, David is roofed. Chipanis can't believe what he just saw.
Now the block is one thing, that's unreal. Then the playing to the crowd. That's something Long Beach started doing. They said it was even more than they've ever done before on Thursday night. So look for more energy to be drawn from this sellout.
Champlin, what a perfect free ball pass off the block deflection. Back to David, going off speed. Long Beach is really a good defensive team.
That transition comes about via the stuff before. Watch Harlan here. Oh, we have to back up just a little further. Harlan pulled his hands down in front of the attack of David. David was going to go off speed. Harlan was not going to get used. Pulled the hands down, resulted in transition attack.
Knight again, the lead is 1. Opening set, best 3 out of 5. Chipanis again. Very hot start, just like on Thursday night in the semifinals.
Confidence. A confident home crowd start. This is what playing in the national title in your home building can do for you.
Just underway and exactly what we expected before a standing room only crowd. For the national title, Long Beach State on top by 2.
The NCAA Men's Volleyball Championship is brought to you by ACE. 100 years of helpful.
The 49ers on top early in this opening set at home. 27-2. They're riding an 18-match winning streak in this building. UCLA at 25-5. UCLA won their 20th national championship last year. Chipani's off to a spectacular start. Pretty good passing by both teams. Chipani's doing it at both ends of the floor. Long Beach is the best team in the country in terms of opponent hitting percentage. Robinson gets that ball away from Mason Briggs. Cooper Robinson with a kill off the left side.
Getting back to those pins, you got to keep in mind that when the Bruins defeated Long Beach earlier in the year, Grant Sloan went off and Knight went off as well. Neither of them will hit a ball in this match.
Grant Sloan unfortunately sprained his ankle during warm-ups on Thursday night. I don't want to say he's the backup. Oh, a serve in the seam. In between Nathan Harlan and Mason Briggs that time by Cooper Robinson.
It's not only about how hard you hit it, but look at that side spin. You want it to cut to a point, hit it between servers. That's about as well as you can do it in terms of position and style of serve.
Ido David and Grant Sloan basically divided the opposite position all season long, and Sloan is unavailable. That could be a factor. Nice roll shot over the top. Very nice touch by Varga.
I like that smart swing from Skyler. He's going to have to just work his way into the match. Just a sophomore playing in his home building, the championship. I would like not to overswing to start. Get into a nice rhythm at that opposite / outside spot where he's playing.
Oh! Ido David said the ball hit the floor first. I think it got him. He's back there in the opposite position, out of serve receive, and we may have our first challenge.
Our linesman called it in. So the ball actually called in along the line. There is some discussion now. They're going to call in the linesman.
Men's college volleyball, you get 3 challenges at the start of the match. If you were correct, you basically have an infinite number. Let's take another look. That ball's out, and I don't think it got David. You can challenge ball in or out, touch off a blocker, net violation.
That ball clearly out.
Yeah, clearly out. Pretty good move by David. Just to finish the thought on the challenge, you challenge foot fault on the service line, foot fault on the 3-meter line, ball in or out, ball up or down.
And they brought in, DV Sport has some extra cameras for this one, extra special cameras, 180 frames per second on the net, both directions. So very much what we've had in Olympic coverage the last few times. And 120 frames per second on that line. Plus, they have the entire TV package. They have access to almost anything that you can take a look at in the arena.
There is John Spera on the left of your screen in his 12th year, 4 times a national champion. We're taking another look at this very close call in the cross-court jump serve.
Yeah, so they're right now in this little DV Sport setup, and we have a look at it. This is exactly what they have. The TV coverage is on the left. The right side is going to be all their cameras, and then they can slow it down. This is how slow they can bring it down, frame rate. A little spinner. If you've ever edited video, you can actually turn a spinner here and look back and forth to really look for those micro touches and the location of the ball.
Barney, I promise you I have never edited video, nor will I ever. Here's the call. Yeah, ball out of bounds. So UCLA still has 3 challenges. There is John Speraw, won 3 of those championships at UC Irvine, and then one last year. The reigning AVCA, American Volleyball Coaches Association, Coach of the Year. Also the Olympic team coach in 2016, won a bronze. 2021 did not advance to the medal round in Tokyo. I say 21 because that's when it took place because of COVID, and then we'll be coaching in Paris. There is Alan Knipe in his 21st year. Said he has won at the game of volleyball. That was an interesting conversation we had yesterday. Chiopanis again.
Varga called for it.
And that ball high off the block and out of bounds.
Lots of times the guy who calls for it the loudest is the guy who gets it. Varga absolutely wanted that one.
Back to serve once again, Darius McRaven. Hitting .431 so far on the year, has been really an impact player, particularly offensively. McHenry missed it out of bounds. What a matchup in the middle. Torwey at 6'11", and on the other side, Merrick McHenry, 6'7", but he touches 12-3.
I love this. You know how crowded it is? We'd love to show you the game from there, but there's too many people standing up. This is like a top-shelf concert at the moment.
UCLA insists on around, but to no avail. Torwey, along with Chiopanis, all over that off-speed shot by David. And remember, UCLA does not have a backup for David at the opposite with the injury to Sloan.
They have plenty of talent. They're going to have some options in the bag, but they don't have a regular option to deploy at that opposite spot. That's for sure. Ido David is not off to a start that John Speraw wanted to see.
There's the Long Beach State huddle. Alan Knipe there. I mentioned his 21st year as the head coach. Won back-to-back national titles in 2018 and 2019, and also, just like his counterpart, John Speraw, won a national championship as a player. These teams are pretty good, UCLA offensively, but best in the country, as I mentioned, in terms of opponent hitting percentages, Long Beach State. We've seen a lot of that already.
Both teams were very complimentary of their semifinal opponents. Both coaches mentioned how the talent had risen to the top. You know, you went through an 18 field, finally something that looks like a real playoff, and you got the 4 best teams. And I think we did get the 2 best teams in the country this season matching up in this final, and they're doing it in front of an outstanding crowd. Bravo to Long Beach State, Alan Knipe, and the fans, the students here. This is the sand pit that you're in down here at the end. They had lots of good signage going. They're vocal, and in fact, I was talking to Mason Briggs yesterday, and he said, my first year, I came here and I ran into a kid, a freshman kid. We were hanging out, and he said, yeah, I came here just for the volleyball. He's like, what do you mean? Kid wasn't on the team. He said, I came here to watch the men's volleyball team. That's why I enrolled in this school. That's not something you normally hear about a men's volleyball program.
And by the thousands, they have come to support Alan Knipe's team through the decades. Mentioned his national championships back-to-back in 18 and 19. Also an Olympic team coach in London in 2012. The USA team finished 5th there.
That was close.
That was
really close. I thought that was going to be an over.
NBA playoffs are in full flight. Merrick McHenry with a slam dunk left-handed. If any fraction of the ball is in the plane, and I'm not sure it was.
I'm not sure it was either.
I think that was completely,
and there was no challenge either.
Completely illegal.
There might have been a net touch. A lot of things you could have done.
Chiopanis going on speed. Not this time. I like the shot. It's just that McHenry is too high.
Listen, if it's Torwey or it's McHenry, you better not roll at the middle in this match. You're going to have to be up a lot higher than that to go roll over the top.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You don't go at Torwey if you're going to roll. You go over the end blocker.
You want to chisel the edge is what you want to do in that situation.
Andrew Rowan missed that ball out of bounds. You talked about UCLA's serving and their disdain for misses. I did the math.
Oh, their tolerance for misses.
Their tolerance,
yeah.
Okay. No, I thought it was disdain. I think might be a better word.
Really?
They miss 5 a set on average.
Okay. Well, maybe your disdain for their tolerance of the misses. I think that's what it might be.
McHenry wearing number 13 in blue. He didn't have enough attempts per set to make the NCAA stats. I know, I agree with you, Kevin. You're waiting.
Change it.
Exactly. He's hitting 576 on the year. 576. It's unheard of. Touches 12-3. His counterpart, Torwey, touches 12-1.
The thing about it is, too, not only does McHenry touch 12-3, He hits the ball at that kind of extension. There's a litany of players you go through that have touched a high point but not hit the ball that way all the time. McHenry, he picked that one off. That looked like a go to the outside, not a 3-ball in the middle.
3 service errors for both of these teams. Long Beach State, the number 2 seed, UCLA, number 1. Chipanis misses that, so 4 missed serves for Long Beach State. Played twice this year. They played on back-to-back days. They played February 9th in this building. Alan Knipe and Long Beach State and Chipanis won 3 sets to 1, and then UCLA returned the favor the very next day. There's McHenry. Interesting hybrid, goes with jump float. On the overpass. Good touch that time by Knipe. Very good block touch by the setter. Robinson against 3 blockers. Over the top.
So I say it's going to go through the pins, and if I'm UCLA, I'm going through the pin whenever Aiden Knipe is up there. I'll set over the top of him nearly every rotation he's in the front row.
Tied at 14.
Especially if it's Robinson versus Knipe, that's advantage Bruins.
UCLA called an early timeout at 8-6. There's McHenry going with the float again on Harlan. Pretty good first contact. Varga down the line, beautifully done. Champlin there with the dig. Harlan looking to go high flat. Roofed by Robinson.
So if you're going to win a national title, if you're going to go back-to-back, you need skills from your players at every single position, and maybe sometimes unexpected. Digging in the left back, Merrick McHenry is the one who picks this driven ball up. Look at that, nice move. Getting the platform underneath it, and it leads to the block. These are the little things that matter when, if you look back at those 2 matches you just mentioned with these 2 teams, half the sets, 4 of them were decided by 3 points or less. Those little things matter hugely.
Yeah, really good replay by our team. I thought it was Champlin that got that when he rotated to the left. It was middle blocker playing defense, Merrick McHenry, with a spectacular save. There's the season series that we were talking about. Interesting, Ethan Champlin played libero in the second matchup, and Alex Knight moved over and played at the outside hitting position. These 2 teams very, very close indeed. And UCLA, the last time they had won a national championship was in 2006. So this was a very, very long wait to last year over Hawaii back in Virginia at George Mason.
For John Sprague, it was a finally kind of moment. And everybody talks about the dominance of UCLA. Certainly, 20 championships is unbelievable. But if you look back into that a little bit further, you discover that if you go back before 2001, you have 18 of those titles. Only 2 have come since that point. So this is John Sprague bringing UCLA back into relevance. He felt like they could have had one even in year 4. They've been in the final a number of times. Think back to the last matchup between these 2 teams in a final at Pauley Pavilion.
2016.
What an incredible final that was. TJ DeFalco, the winner on that side. Al Skates, still a fan of his team.
Won 19 NCAA championships. Tremendous contributor to the sport of volleyball, what he has done and what he has continued to support. Just an amazing tradition for UCLA and Al Skates. Briggs has got that off the floor, and that ball hit out of bounds. UCLA starting to find some offense.
Now, people wonder with volleyball players or competitors like Al Skates, he gets out of the game now, coach, is he still a competitor? I went over and said hi to Al. I wasn't there 15 seconds. He goes, look, I shot a 77 this week. I beat St. John Smith. He shot 84. They're out golfing together.
He told me the same thing. 30th tournament appearance.
Way to go,
for UCLA.
Al.
They've won 20 titles, and under Al Skates, they won 6 of the first 7. Torway going over the top, dug by Champlin. Simon Torway told us he's probably going to play professionally in Germany next year as he gets his career started. Really an interesting young man. Speaks 4 languages, English, German, Spanish, and Catalan. And I said, is there really a big difference between Catalan and Spanish? He said, yeah, it's like French and Spanish. Family grew up and still resides in Mallorca.
So I look back on Thursday night, Simon Torway at the service line. First set, GCU gives back a lead. Simon Torway at the line does most of that damage. Second set, same thing. Simon Torway at the line for about 5 serves. Third set, they win. He again does damage at the service line. He's doing it here.
UCLA's passing the ball well. Really good block touch one-on-one. And Aiden Knight looking for some hands on Robinson and missed that out of bounds.
I like the idea, but don't go high hands. You got to get over the top of that ball.
Alan Knipe was reminding us that back in 2018, Simon Torwey, after that, served. Oh, it was in the semifinals when UCLA lost to Long Beach State. He served match point.
He has a very nice professional career ahead of him.
Oh, yeah. David misses that, sprays it well long. David off to a pretty slow start, and he was very good, 9 of 22 on Thursday night in the semifinal. And what a classic matchup against UC Irvine.
Let's see in the latter moments of this first set and then on into the second, third, how each team settles in at the service line, because there's a lot of pressure to serve the ball tough at all times.
Nathan Harlan is doing a really good job right now at the net for Clark Godbold. Oh, what a block. They called him.
It went right through the left hand of Dieras. Just through.
McRaven thought that he had that one, and so did I.
Well, the armpit, actually. Right there. That's a stinger on the upper tricep.
Well, when you get your armpits over the net, it can be a little dangerous at times. Out of Honolulu, Darius McRaven. Long Beach by 1. Very good pass. That ball is down.
And smartly, Ethan Champlin turns around and says, thumbs up to John Spraw. You have to communicate with your coaches now with the challenge system. You can't be wasting challenges and giving those away when you know that that ball was down or that you touched it, particularly on a swing when you're blocking.
Yeah, with only 3 challenges throughout the course of the entire match, unless you play 5, you can't waste those. Good first contact continuing. Champlin hammered that ball right on the sideline. Number 20 in blue from Oceanside, California. Hit 342 on the year.
And with everything else he does, what an exceptional number. Interesting thing that John Spraw did with Ethan Champlin in the fall. There are split squad matches. There are times when you don't play your starters during the fall tournaments. He had Champlin coaching. John wasn't there. Champlin is coaching his fellow athletes in a match. That's how much understanding of the game Ethan Champlin has and how much trust he has from his head coach, John Spraw.
Defensive specialist wearing number 23, Coleman McDonough, 5'11" sophomore out of Pittsburgh, on to serve. UCLA with a little mini run behind Champlin et al., leading it 20-18. Guy Guinness now goes to the sideline. McHenry, strong front line. That's a net violation. Shipanis is arguing that he contacted the net outside the antenna.
He is arguing it inaccurately because he also contacted the UCLA blockers underneath the net. So
I agree.
Either way, you're wrong.
And there'll be no challenge here.
Oh, he's all up in the net there. Giant tuna fish.
So net violation here and a timeout called by Long Beach State. We've got a timeout, UCLA on top in this opening set, 21-18. The NCAA Women's Water Polo Championship match is on ESPNU next Sunday, May 12th at 10 Eastern Time. That's 7 Pacific from Speaker Aquatics Complex in Berkeley, California. For more information, go to ncaa.com. Your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Back with Pepperdine All-American and 2-time Olympian Kevin Barnett. I'm Paul Sunderland. Your thoughts so far? Back and forth we go. There have been lots of lead changes and some mini runs by both Long Beach and UCLA.
Yeah, it's true, but I'm still waiting for somebody to settle in here. This has not been an exceptionally played first set. Long Beach is hitting 125. Each team has 4 service errors. Not exactly lighting the world on fire as UCLA at 250. So, well, yeah, it's close, within 3 points. Long Beach certainly has a shot here at this first set. It's going to come down to who can raise their level of play, who can settle into this championship circumstance more quickly.
I agree with you completely, Kevin. You can look at the numbers and go very good defense, but just to echo what you said, teams have not settled in, found a really good rhythm, find some places where they can attack and defend, because on the year, Long Beach State hit 348, UCLA best in the country at 375, and both way below that level.
And part of that could have been we were delayed by a number of minutes. The players were out on the floor for a number of minutes before they got started, thanks to Max Verstappen. So that weighs in on it. That's out of your rhythm, and it's the championship. You're all ready to go, hyped up. They'll settle in. It's just taking a little while.
He's got to tell Max to go a little bit faster.
I'm not sure that's possible.
Good block touch. Rowan, number 7. A long blocker. Very nice play. Andrew Rowan at 6'6", setting position, playing on the right, going outside. Good change of pace. You talked about all the shots from Champlin.
And this is where the game has really evolved at the outside hitter position. The pushes, the chops, the shoves, the use of the edge. Reminds me of Rafael Pascual, way ahead of his time back in the late 90s playing for Spain. He was the first guy I saw that just had a toolbox full of more tools than you've ever seen. Ethan Champlin is a continuation of that and really a proliferation of that into the collegiate game from the international game. You see players doing it all over the place.
McDonough did a really nice job at the service line, heading up a 4-0 run before the side out came on the missed serve. Nate Dickinson, 6'7" redshirt junior out of nearby Corona Del Mar on to serve. UCLA again has been good in reception. Ido David missed it again.
So here's the thing, you might be able to put Zach Rama in that spot. The normal substitute at outside. Rama certainly capable of hitting on that right side, hitting with pace and accuracy.
Ido David is 0 for 5.
Not gonna last too long. No, you're not gonna last too long that way.
Mistake serving Champlin. Watch from McHenry. Boy, that was awfully quick. Andrew Rowan just rifling the ball to the outside to Champlin, number 20 in blue.
It's not easy to put Simon Torrey in the popcorn popper, but they just did there with that near 3-ball and definite go to the pin.
Champlin now 4 of 7. Cooper Robinson 4 of 9. Neither of them have an error. Here is Rowan. UCLA gets the set point. Champlin again.
A highly technical swing in a tough situation. 12 feet off, ball too low, hit from about his shoulder or ear level for a kill.
Set point number 1, first of 4 for UCLA and Rowan. McHenry, first contact, and not a very good one. Long Beach wanted a double contact. David, good block touch. Must have for Long Beach State. Aziz with a dig. And Champlin rolls off speed.
Now we're back to Thursday. Just with that rally. I'll tell you, big difference. First free ball coming over to UCLA's side. Merrick McHenry should not handle that ball. That has to be Aziz at the libero position, getting it. On the other side, you saw Briggs take control and pass that free ball. The libero is the captain of the defense. He's the middle linebacker. He has to communicate and command control.
Varga back to serve, set point number 2. Good pass again. Opening set goes to the Bruins.
UCLA going to their man to close it out. When you said it perfectly, McHenry is unstoppable. UCLA 1-0.
If you're not here for Fandom 101, you're in the wrong class. Here, we learn the fundamentals of fanology, the basics of bringing the noise, and the physics of bringing it out. Your path to fan mastery begins here. It's all part of the curriculum. The NCAA Championships. Attendance is encouraged. Passion is mandatory. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/tickets. Class dismissed.
I'm Cordy, the talking pug, but I wasn't always a talking pug. Before I moved to Cortland Apartments, I was just a regular, everyday pug. But then I saw how incredible Cortland Apartments are, and it was enough to make a dog talk. Now I can't stop. When it comes to things like work and play spaces, I go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Sorry about that. My first words? Next level apartment living, of course.
Watch me now. I am the Venus of your light. Watch me now. Swarovski.
Hi, what's your name?
This is our new friend. We'll talk about it later, right?
What does a cat need?
Chewy's here. No.
Second.
Hey, wait, come back!
Is this normal?
Ask the Chewy vet team.
How much is too much catnip?
For everything you need and everything you need to know, find it at Chewy.
Did you know that only 1 in 10 Americans consume adequate amounts of fruits and vegetables? Getting all the necessary nutrients in a day can seem nearly impossible with your busy schedules. At AG, we believe in simplifying how you provide your body with the foundational nutrients it needs by filling nutritional gaps and promoting gut health with essential vitamins, minerals, pre- and probiotics, and superfoods. Health doesn't need to be complicated. Take advantage of a comprehensive solution with AG1.
There wouldn't be an hour in the day that I wouldn't think about my hair thinning.
I hid under my hat for a good 3 years.
I experienced many challenges with prescribed medication.
Losing your sex drive feels very shameful.
My dermatologist recommended Nutrafol.
The game of modern men's volleyball runs through your left sides and how well you can score from that position. Cooper Robinson off to an outstanding start in that first set, killing the ball on the outside at a 364 clip, 5 kills. And on the other side of him, opposite him, Ethan Champlin also cranking offensively. Both of these guys hitting combined above 400. And that was the difference in that first set.
9 of 20 with only 1 error, and UCLA's block defense was absolutely superb. We mentioned that Long Beach State hitting over 350 on the year. They were held to 107. Maybe a lot of it their own doing.
Well, maybe, and you talk about Long Beach's ability to hold opponents. Well, 242 is not exceptional, especially for a team like UCLA with the amount of firepower they have. So you did half your job there. If Long Beach gets going offensively in this second set and can maintain the same level, not even any better, of defense, they're going to take the second set, and we'll be headed off to a potential long match the way we had on Thursday.
And they played twice on the regular season here at the Pyramid on February 9th. That was won by Long Beach State 3-1, and then Ethan Champlin and UCLA returned the favor 24 hours later. Opening set to the Bruins, 25-21. And a really good run at the end. Speaking of that, Coleman McDonough came in and served a 4-0 run. McRaven roaring into the start.
McRaven at one point was 8 for 9 on Thursday evening. Finished up closer to the 500 mark as they got him late, but he was a dominant offensive force for much of that match.
Nathan Harlan, 6'4" senior out of Ladera Ranch, started the match in place of Clark Godbold. Godbold was warming up and staying loose in between sets, and he looks fine. He's had some knee issues, been a little balky, but this was just a quality of play situation.
Yeah, it's an either or, right? You just wonder now, okay, Harlan's been in the reserve in the last match. Now Godbold's in that reserve. How good is each player at that role? You as a coach have to balance that. How good is a player as a starter versus how good are they as a reserve? It's a different role.
Robinson again. Off speed over the top. Knipe is flying. And it's going to be a net violation called against Long Beach State. What do you think Coach Knipe would have said to his team, and particularly his son, his setter? Pretty good defensive play here during the timeout and side change.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot to worry about if you're Long Beach. You're just worried about getting the offense going. So it comes down to individual plays and playing in the moment, not playing anything further than one play at a time. Well, UCLA with an easy one there.
McHenry, he's got this hybrid serve. You don't know which one's going to come out. He's got this short little run-up, and he went with the jump float here, and that just ate up Chipanis. Mentioned that Satiris Chipanis is from Cyprus. I did mean he's a Cypriot. He's not from nearby Cyprus, California.
Well, there are no Cypriots in LA that are native to LA. You have to be from Cyprus, the actual island.
Started his career at Ohio State and actually found out yesterday had a very serious back injury there at the time. Had a dystectomy, and he's had some back issues early on, missed a lot of the fall, but now back playing at 100%. Knipe again. David has been very slow out of the gate, that time over the top of the block.
So you notice how much defense on those down balls or free ball situations the middles are playing. McHenry handled a couple balls with his hand late in that first set. And now, as Long Beach gets that one up, now it's UCLA's other middle who's picking the ball up with his hands.
Guy Guinness playing out of the middle, also an Israeli. That was the first kill for Ido David, and he backed that up with another ace. Third ace so far for UCLA.
Just gets on it so quick, and that thing clicking the net changes the direction of it. Makes it so difficult for Briggs.
And Mason Briggs is one of the very best in the business, three-time and All-American at the Libero. Rocket down the line, working on Chipanis again.
The ball's tight.
Did it get a piece of the block? It did not. So a very, very quick start for the UCLA Bruins, already up 1-0.
I would look for a timeout here. Instead, Alan Knipe's going to look for a change, and we're going to get Clark Godbold here in set 2.
I'm surprised that Coach Knipe didn't take out Chipanis. He's the one that's been struggling. Harlan's been pretty good, in my opinion. Here is Ido David once again. 33 aces on the year. Make it 34. Now you got to call a timeout.
Indeed, and there it is.
Yeah, went with a substitution first to bring in Godbold, but you got to get Ido David off the service line. The Bruins storming out of the blocks in the second set, up 1-0 and 7-2 here in the second.
Welcome to Fandom 101. Show up for your team as they punch their ticket to the national championship. It's all part of the curriculum. The Division I NCAA Women's Lacrosse Championship, May in Cary, North Carolina. Attendance is encouraged. Passion is mandatory. Buy your tickets today at ncaa.com/WLacrosse. Class dismissed.
Our house-made ketchup.
Oh, I'm Janet Hines of the Hines family. Yes, that one. I'm sorry, but I can't be seen eating non-Heinz ketchup.
She's sorry, but she can't be seen eating non-Heinz ketchup. Do we have any of her family's ketchup?
Excuse me, I'm Barry Hines.
Coming up tomorrow afternoon, we'll have Game 7 between the Orlando Magic and the Cleveland Cavaliers. That'll be in Cleveland, 1 Eastern time on ABC and the ESPN app. The winner gets the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference semifinals. The NBA Countdown crew tips things off with our coverage starting at 12:30.
So volleyball is kind of a small sport ball, and these two players here, Clark Godbold on the left, on the right, Cooper Robinson. They were teammates for a couple of years in club, won a national championship at the 17s level before COVID ended them as the best 18s team in the nation in that particular season. And now they're both finishing their college eligibility in this year in the national title match, across the net from one another.
That ball served just out of bounds, so the timeout called by head coach Alan Knipe to good effect. There is Clark Godbold. He's been a starter most of the season. He was most outstanding player at the Big West Conference Championships in Honolulu. That was won by Long Beach State over Hawaii.
Yeah, I say Cooper Robinson has one more year left. He was younger playing up, but Clark Godbold is going to be done.
Varga again. That's a pretty good pass actually off that serve. Varga, good first contact. Chipanis is hitting negative. And Ethan Champlin hard into the bench on the sideline. He gives a little fist bump to the people he ran into. I figure he's okay.
Yeah, I was afraid for him there. That's a little too close to the barrier. Good to see him get up unscathed.
You mentioned the close-knit feeling between Godbold and Robinson. There's a lot of that because these players are so superior and so outstanding between these two programs. Spent a lot of time playing for Team USA, the Under-21 World Championships, Under-19 World Championships, as Robinson continues. Very, very nice start. I'm sure his uncle, the great St. John Smith, is very, very happy. St. John Smith, 139 beach volleyball tournament wins.
He's here tonight?
Yes, he is here tonight.
In spite of his loss to Al.
Varga missed it out of bounds, no touch. Long Beach is really struggling at the offensive end.
Well, they're not sure where to go offensively. That's the problem. You were wondering why you put Godbold in for Siopanis, and he was hitting 0. Well, you look across the line, and what is Briggs hitting? Briggs is also hitting 0. And then you have Varga. Well, his numbers are shrinking now. He's at negative. So if you're Aiden Knipe, you're wondering, where can I set this ball?
David again, dug by Briggs, but out of bounds. After a very slow start, Ido David is really heating it up, and it started at the service line.
It is, and that's the only closed chain skill in the game right there, service. You can set yourself at your own pace. You can get up and take a cut at it. That's a problem. If you're Long Beach, you'd let this guy up off the mat after that first 25-point effort.
Long Beach State with only 12 kills to 16 for Robinson and UCLA, but 10 hitting errors, and Long Beach State hitting negative in the second set. More errors than kills. Robinson again. Clark Godbold out of the back row.
So you have a guy, you let him get warm, he's new to the match, fine. No one else is killing the ball on the outside. If I'm Aiden Knipe, I start going to number 12 a lot more and see if, hey, is Clark the answer for this match, for this set, for this moment?
And I'm looking at the middles as well. Between Torrey and McRaven, they only have 6 attempts. The passing has been pretty good. So quick to the outside. Beautiful delivery by Andrew Rowan.
Yeah, but Paul, you touched on Alex Knight with a dime there. That's what set this up, was that perfect pass to allow that pace to the outside, making Torrey a late arriving middle blocker.
Champlin now with 6 kills on 12 swings. That'll do. Guinness again. Varga! Champlin didn't know where it went, but where it went was right back at the feet of Varga. Timeout, Long Beach State.
Got to make big moves when you're one-on-one on the outside. Champlin chose correctly and got that one to bounce right back off of number 4 in white. Caught the left hand in the air. That's a terrible feeling as an attacker when you get hit by your own ball coming off the block.
Champlin, a spectacular move on the outside. Timeout is taken by Long Beach State. Let's update you on the Capital One Cup, both the men's and women's standings. Michigan, the Wolverines on top, followed by Clemson, UConn, South Dakota State, and Stanford. On the other side, on the women's side, the University of Texas, on the strength of the Longhorns' 2nd national championship in a row in women's college volleyball. The Stanford Cardinal are always there. Florida State, South Carolina, and Nebraska, back with 2-time Olympian Kevin Barnett, Paul Sunderland. Boy, Long Beach State right now really struggling at the offensive end. We saw spectacular play on Thursday night in the semifinals, but so far it has been all, from about 20 on, it's been all UCLA.
It has, and the UCLA fans have been treated to a UCLA quick start and shut down some of the energy in the building from LBSU here at Long Beach State. This was a match in demand, Paul. Looking on StubHub earlier today. When was the last time you saw men's volleyball tickets going for over $100 on the resale market?
Never.
Yeah, never.
Never.
That is a nice benchmark to set to fill this 5,000-seat arena to capacity for the showdown between number 1 and number 2. Well done, everybody in the community. Well done.
Standing room only crowd here at the Pyramid. Officially, the capacity is 5,000. There's a fire station right down the street. I hope the fire marshal doesn't come. I don't think this standing room only is legal.
I think they sent him some food, so he's just going to enjoy the afternoon.
Got to get Simon Torrey more opportunities. I mentioned the paucity of opportunities for number 11 along with McRaven, his bookend at the middle blocking position.
If you're Long Beach right now, it just has to come all the way back to each play. You don't look at the score. Even if you lose this set, you just have to raise your own level of play. It doesn't matter if you come back. If you lose this set by 6, that's okay. You've stabilized.
David again, the hot hand. This is a pyramid, thankfully. The roof is way up there. David is blocked by Godbold. Clark Godbold, 6'5" senior, honorable mention All-American from nearby San Pedro.
And Clark does not need a lot of space in order to be big. He does not need a big, long approach to get up high and be strong.
Joust is won by Godbold.
And a huge redirect. The push to the right-hand side.
Timeout UCLA. And the crowd at the Pyramid, the home of the Long Beach State 49ers, getting back into it.
Yeah, the last joust play here, when you get a joust situation, you have to give direction to the ball. Godbold doing an excellent job of pushing in and then pushing to his right with two hands to get that winner against Rowan.
So far, UCLA has been much better in serve reception. Their first contact, Andrew Rowan has been able to run his offense very, very quickly and make choices that have really put Long Beach State's defense on its heels. I want to remind everybody that the next stop on the Formula One schedule is the 3rd annual Crypto.com Miami Grand Prix at the Miami International Autodrome at Hard Rock Stadium. Our coverage begins tomorrow afternoon at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 12:30 out here on the West Coast with the Grand Prix on Sunday. And the race starts at 4 p.m. Eastern on ABC, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN+. Max Verstappen has been having his way with Formula One all season long. Pretty unstoppable. UCLA comes in with 25 wins, 5 losses so far on the year. The fall was a real challenge. You mentioned Cooper Robinson was coming back from some knee problems and broken foot, and 3 players AVC All-Americans, and doesn't come easy, but what matters is you're playing your very, very best volleyball at this time of year, and both Long Beach State and John Speraw and the UCLA Bruins are.
John has a deep bench. I asked him about his recruiting philosophy or being the national team coach helps, and he said, listen, recruiting's an imperfect science. And I miss a lot of time recruiting because I'm coaching the national team. So there's some balance to be had there about time missed versus the draw of playing for the national team coach.
Torwey doing some really good work. Nice shot to recycle by Champlin. Really, really cerebral volleyball by number 20 in blue.
He takes an opportunity that's less than ideal and manufactures one that is ideal with that same pace. Again, you see how late the middle blocker is for Long Beach. It is near impossible to get there when the ball is set at that pace to the left.
Boy, and is that a tough matchup for Aiden Knight. Not the best blocker on any day, but having to go against Champlin, particularly at that speed one-on-one.
Now, if you're a left side attacker, you got Aiden Knight one-on-one, you are looking to feast.
Andrew Rowan was such an incredible story last year. Remember Miles Partain? All of a sudden, he was the reigning MPSF Conference Player of the Year. He was the starting setter, expected back. He decided to turn his attention to the beach. Andrew Rowan takes over as the starting setter. He's the newcomer of the year in the NCAA and leads the Bruins to their first NCAA title since 2006.
All of that's right, but let's not pretend that Rowan wasn't pushing on that position. That was not something that just dropped onto Rowan in some weird scenario where he left. No, this kid was pushing to be the starter, to be the man, and he proved it at the end of the year. And things have also worked out for Miles. He's on an Olympic track to be out there on the beach this summer.
Smart shot by Godbold. Looking at Robinson along with McHenry and tipping that ball smartly out of bounds. Does number 12 in white for Long Beach State. 14-9 is the lead. UCLA, if you're just joining us, was very close through 20, and then UCLA won on a 4-0 run. Took the opening set 25-21. Knight with the first contact. Chipanis.
I'd like someone else to handle that first contact. I'd like either Godbold to get it or Mason Briggs to take control. Knight has to get out of the way so you can run the offense and you don't get stuck with that Bruin block in front of your outside hitter who's off to a tough start in this match.
UCLA now with 5 stuffs. Chipanis is 5 of 15 with 5 errors.
Yeah, that ball went inside the block, so this time the Bruins are able to go over the top of the block for the winner.
Net violation will give Chipanis his 6th kill. 6 kills on 15 swings. Hitting .067. Here is McHenry. UCLA hitting .289 on the afternoon. Long Beach State just 143. Remember, Long Beach State was down 2-0 on Thursday in their semifinal comeback reverse sweep. over GCU. Another block. McHenry again, dominant performance right now for UCLA. Still going with a jump float, keeping it on Chipanis. Farga inside the mark and away from home. He too has been very, very quiet. 3 kills on 11 swings with 4 errors, hitting negative.
That pass out at 10 feet, tough to really be a assertive weapon in the middle there for Darius.
Dane Hillis, 6'3", redshirt sophomore out of San Clemente, back to serve. The lead is 4. Champlin unloading on the back row combination. Really good pass by Robinson.
Yeah, and then a nice choice too. When you get nobody up, that goes to the setter and where he's gone with the offense. So everyone clearing out, you're running that into the gap, and that's increasingly with the Bic. The Bic was traditionally right down the middle of the court. No matter where the position of the setter went, you set it to the middle of the court. Now teams are running it into the gap between those front blockers. It's more of what used to be called an A or a C, but it's not quite that either. You're running right into those gaps.
Torway Aziz with the dig. And David missed it out of bounds, but the linesman called a touch. So Ido David with the kill. Talk about UCLA's very unique system of using 2 different players sharing the libero duties between Alex Knight, last year's most outstanding player at the outside hitting position, now libero, and Matthew Aziz.
Something we first saw all the way back in 2012 when, it was Alan Knight facing Italy in Dallas, and Italy started shuffling their liberos. You have a libero who's an excellent passer. You have another libero who's an exceptional defender. You can trade those skills off without using up another substitution. You can trade liberos back and forth, back and forth. That's allowed by the rules.
So Alex Knight comes back in, and just think of the number of reps he's had with Ethan Champlin passing next to each other.
John mentioned that.
Yeah, so one player comes in to receive, the other, Matthew Aziz, comes in to play defense.
And you know what that does, Paul, that relationship and how long-standing it is? It allows Cooper Robinson to pass less space, to have less pressure, and think more about hitting on the outside. Cooper still has another year, still young in his volleyball career. Nice to be able to get on the floor and not get served every single ball, have a little bit of space taken up next to you.
19-13 is the advantage. Robinson, UCLA, really unloading, not missing nearly as many as they usually do. Guinness with the first contact. Fortunate for Long Beach State, they were lost defensively, but Guinness along with Champlin. Dialed in are the Bruins offensively and defensively.
You nailed it there. No matter what Long Beach tries right now, the Bruins have an answer. That was a missed connection on the outside with nobody up for Ethan Champlin. He couldn't do anything with it. It should be a good opportunity for the Beach. Instead, it turns into a stuff block.
Sebastiano Sani, a 6'8" freshman, coming in now to play for Long Beach State. 20-13, Robinson, along with the rest of the Bruins, just unloading at the line. Good pass by Briggs. Varga down the line off of Aziz.
So you got a little running if you're Long Beach. You're back to 6 now. You're feeling pretty down. You got to hold this to 6 over the next 5 points for UCLA. If you play them even right now, you're back to that same scenario. Hold the line.
Sani again. Long Beach State looking for some momentum in front of this huge home crowd. Another service there. We talk about those an awful lot for UCLA. They've got 9, but now Long Beach State with 8. I think the Bruins will take that all day long.
Well, the Bruins will take the 4 aces to go with the 9. That 2-to-1 ratio is good with me, even a little bit over. 2-1, 2-5, something like that. 1-8, no way.
Here is Coleman McDonough again. Remember, he ran a 4-0 run for UCLA right towards the end of that opening set. David is blocked. Got Bold and Torrey.
So here for Long Beach is a pretty good scenario. That block's a nice start. Now you have Torrey at the line. First 2 sets, he gave them a little momentum on Thursday. A little momentum, even though they lost the set. They could use that same momentum and energy right now.
Look at that touch by Robinson.
You have to put this one away if you're Long Beach.
Where do you go? Going to Varga, right side, off the top of the block. David can't control it.
Hugely important point.
Varga now with his 5th kill on 13 swings. And remember, Ido David really struggling right now. 3 of 11 with 5 errors. And his backup, Grant Sloan, is unavailable because of injury.
I think a lot of people think of big swings as ones to take the lead, ones to win sets. Sometimes a big swing is just one to get your team back on track. That could have been it for Skylar Varga.
Thunderous off the left side by Champlin.
Ethan Champlin's just picking apart Aiden Knipe at the pin.
Yeah, Long Beach State might want to change that matchup because Champlin is lighting up the afternoon. 9 kills on 18 swings. And McRaven, as fast as that set is to the outside, has no chance.
Well, that's fine. You can spin the dial, but you're then going to get Cooper Robinson, who's currently hitting .462 on top of Aiden Knipe.
Well, then there's that.
Yeah, you'd want one of those guys to be off right now. And if you're Aiden Knipe and you're up there, hey, make a move. Push straight over, and if you see the ball coming a little bit tight, go soft block. You have to make some adjustments to what you're doing.
This is probably John Spera's deepest team since he's been at UCLA, and coming on is 6'8" sophomore out of Phoenix, Zach Rama, usually an outside hitter. He's good in rotation 1, hitting the left side. He's wearing number 21. Outstanding young player. Godbold misses that out of bounds.
Okay, Andrew Rowan has to think about this. You just subbed in Zach Rama seconds ago. Don't set him. Don't set him. Let the guy move around a little bit. He's been standing over there for the last set and nearly 2.
UCLA hitting 283 on the afternoon, 350 in the second set. Champlin superb again in all phases. Very easy serve. Back row combination. Sebastiano Sani with the kill on the back row. Called it a big back row quick combination. Here is Godbold. UCLA 2 points away from a commanding lead. Oh, that was an absolute scud missile. Godbold with the ace. That's number 20 on the year.
Mark Godbold making an audition for his upcoming pro career, still looking for a home for next year. You fill the coffin corner that way, you will find yourself in Europe.
Off the top of the tape, had to take some risk. Trailing by 4, and now UCLA will have 5 set points. UCLA in a classic over UC Irvine in 5 sets on Thursday night, and once again Clark Godbold and Long Beach State having to come from 2 sets down against GCU. Here's McHenry, set point number 1. He's been going with a jump float and does so again and misses that one. You talked about the game being an outside hitters contest. Look what Champlin and Cooper Robinson, they have dominated that matchup against the left sides for Long Beach State.
I'm setting Cooper Robinson right now to win this set.
Easy serve. And off the block and out of bounds. Nice call, Barney. The Barn Eye makes its first appearance here in the NCAA championships. UCLA took the opening set 25-21 and took the second 25-20.
Long Beach State finds itself in familiar territory, down 0-2, having to come back. The problem is it's the UCLA Bruins on the other side who are cranking on all cylinders, looking one set away from another title.
College sports fans, get ready for game day with officially licensed merchandise from the NCAA official online shop, ncaa.com/shop. Get the whole family geared up with the best collection of apparel and accessories, including t-shirts, sweatshirts, headwear, championship gear, and more. Visit the NCAA shop for today's special offer and rep your favorite team now. Only at ncaa.com/shop.
I'm Cordy, the talking pug, but I wasn't always a talking pug. Before I moved to Cortland Apartments, I was just a regular, everyday pug. But then I saw how incredible Cortland Apartments are, and it was enough to make a dog talk. Now I can't stop. When it comes to things like work and play spaces, I go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Sorry about that. My first words? Next level apartment living, of course.
Watch me now. I am the Venus of the night. Watch me now. Swarovski.
With Chewy, get flea meds delivered before the itching begins. Or after, but before is definitely better.
Good job.
Save 20% on your first pharmacy order and get it delivered right on time.
Get your blur on. New Blur Screen Primer. Protects with SPF 30. Grips makeup for up to 18-hour wear. Blur skin with no white cast. Infused with coconut water and cactus flower extract.
Professional makeup.
Step inside the Infiniti QX80. Immersive 3-row sound to enhance all your high notes. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care. Included with the 2024 Infiniti QX80.
An absolutely beautiful afternoon here in Southern California, Long Beach Harbor specifically. And beautiful performance by the UCLA Bruins looking for their 21st NCAA championship up over Long Beach State, 2-0. Back with Kevin Barnett, I'm Paul Sunderland. We were talking about it during the commercial break. What does Alan Knipe do with his lineup after the lineup that he's been playing has been overwhelmed in the first 2 sets?
I'm going to keep Harlan and Godbold in there. Yep. That's who I'm going to put back out on the floor at outside hitter. I like the incorporation of other players who have played some time throughout the year, but you got to go with the guys that got you here, and you have a rotation. So you could always bring Chiopanis back if you need to do that, but you still need to find yourself a consistent offensive outlet. If you can't find it there, you're going to have to keep spinning the dial with maybe some of those other guys mid-set. And also, defensively, I would take Aiden Knipe and commit with him in the middle sometimes. When you're in those matchups and you figure they're going to go to the outside over the top of Aiden as they have, put him in the middle, have him commit, and put Torwey outside. Even if you're one-on-one, I'd rather have Torwey out there than Aiden Knipe by himself and a half a middle blocker. I want a full Torwey against the outside hitting of UCLA.
That is really an innovative thought. Some teams have done it when they've got a really undersized setter. UCLA holding Long Beach State to 137. Looking at the Long Beach State lineup, Godbold is back at the service line. Chiopanis is back in as well in the left front. Other than that, it stays the same. And I think Long Beach State has got to do a much better job from the service line. They are being dominated in serve and pass right now. Dug by Briggs. Varga missed it out of bounds. An opening opportunity. Looking for a touch, but the ball called out of bounds. And Skylar Varga, 6'7" sophomore out of Munster, Saskatchewan. Didn't play last year because of injury and hobbled a little bit like by that earlier in the fall.
This is a
challenging touch, no touch.
Communication is important because if you're John Sproul, what are you going to talk about during this timeout? If Cooper Robinson says, yeah, I touched it, then you have to talk about the impending reception. If he says, no, I didn't touch it, then you're talking about serving the ball. I thought from the angle there that he may have touched it, but it's tough to tell. This is where you're going to go into that slow down. You're going to go into that slow motion right along the net and see if you can catch it if you're the referees.
Looked like a micro pinky touch on the part of Cooper Robinson. And give you some of those numbers. Ethan Champlin, Cooper Robinson combined, 16 of 33 with 1 hitting error. Hitting error, volleyball statistics, either stuffed for a point or ball hit out of bounds.
Paul, you don't want a macro pinky touch. You end up with a pinky that looks like a question mark that I have on my right hand.
You need to get that. You need to get that taken care of. Back-to-back titles possibly for UCLA. Remember going back in the early days, and the legendary, the truly great head coach Al Skates won 6 of the first 7, and then you pointed after they won 18 of those titles before 2000. They had to wait a long time. It was 2006. Remember last year the theme for UCLA, is it time for 20 for Long Beach State, 4th title in school history. Alan Knipe won one in 1991 as a player, and now they won back-to-back in 18 and 19. UCLA by far the most titles. Pepperdine, USC, and UC Irvine. Three of those titles at UC Irvine were won by John Sproul. Long Beach State, Ohio State, and BYU have all won 3. And it's been really interesting. Going back to 2014, the titles have been back-to-back to back-to-back. McHenry effective with a jump float, working on Briggs. Got bowled off of Guinness and out of bounds. Guy Guinness, middle blocker out of Israel, not able to control that, wearing number 9 in blue.
Yeah, good read by Guinness. He nearly had it.
But he was by himself. You want more than one blocker up there. Simon Torwey. This is a good rotational move, getting Torwey back to the line early in the set. And comes up dry there. You look at service errors, that is number 10 for Long Beach State, 11 for UCLA. But to me, Barney, in terms of first ball contact and serve receive, UCLA has been far superior.
You're going to talk about more than aces. You're going to talk about what is the quality of pass on the other side. There's a lot of range between a quality serve and an ace.
There's David. And an ace serve again. Ida David now with 3 aces.
And this is what happened early in that second set. David got going from the service line. Not only stole the points, but stole the momentum and kind of the wind out of Long Beach. You don't want to give a guy like this a run at the line because you get into a rhythm by yourself. Your toss gets in a rhythm, your attack position, your feet get into a rhythm, and if you have the arm of David, it's trouble for the opponent.
David again, and misses that one into the top of the tape. Offensively, he's not been very good. 3 of 11 with 5 errors after a very productive semifinal when he was 9 of 22. First team All-American last year, shared the position this year with the injured Grant Sloan. There is Varga. There's a slight delay, one of the ball kids. Great work by the floor wipers and ball kids out here working hard. Varga, part of the Canadian national team. He'll have a chance to play in the VNL this summer. Canada has already qualified for the 2024 Olympic Games and has a very, very bright future.
Yeah, what's interesting, he's from a town of 400 people. So there's 9 stores in the whole thing. He's outside of Saskatchewan.
That's right next to Red Hat and Saskatoon.
Yeah.
I know it well.
And then Gavin Schmidt, the longtime opposite, gigantic 6'11", outside pin attacker, is from that same area.
That ball missed out of bounds by Robinson, wearing number 11 in blue. International flavor for Long Beach State, several.
Yeah, the recruiting has definitely gone international for collegiate programs. Start to wonder if you should have a foreigner rule. This final is much less egregious than, say, BYU versus Hawaii.
David again over the top. Done by Chipanis. Varga through the block and down off the hands of Guinness.
If this is the Pro League, then should you limit the number of foreign players in the Pro League the way they do overseas?
It's been talked about forever.
But you couldn't run a tennis team then.
Or a track and field team, mind you.
Right. Good for Long Beach State to get right back in it.
So Tiris Chipanis back to serve. Good first contact to the outside. And just roofed. McRaven with the stuff, number 19 in white.
Now the crowd comes alive a little bit. The injured has been sacked from the building. Yeah, it's McRaven just hustling. Look at that little pogo to the outside, but good hand position. So even if you're off balance body-wise, get your hands turned into a good spot.
Perfect pass by Knight. And Guinness, defense was there, but a beautiful connection between Rowan and Guinness.
That's his first kill.
First kill, yeah.
First kill, 5 attempts.
Very sparingly do they go to him. Guinness and Ito David from Israel. And Hideharu Nakayama no longer with the team, and that's kind of an interesting story. More on that when we have a moment. Champion over the top. Japanese athlete Nakamura that we just talked about there was supposed to be the starting libero. He had some difficulty transferring into UCLA. When he finally did in January, they tried to get him up to speed, and it just wasn't working. So all of a sudden, UCLA has no libero, so that's why they had to split it between Aziz and Knight.
Oh, they've had matches where Champlin has played at libero.
Yes, against Long Beach State. on the 10th. Oh, Ruth! Merrick McHenry.
So the Bruins did an outstanding job of reading this. We mentioned running the Bicks into the gaps. This is the same thing. McHenry not fooled at all. And look how far Champlin is sucked in. He's standing in the middle of the court. You have to recognize that as a setter, go overhead right now. You got to go to Varga if the ball is passed to this side of the net, if UCLA is going to cheat this far over.
Very easy to break. McRaven just detonating.
Or go to the lightning quick right arm. There is McRaven. Look at where Champlin is standing. In that rotation, that needs to be recognized by the coaching staff. Communicate with Aiden Knight. Set overhead when the ball is pushed.
Cover by Knight. Tight. Good joust with Torwey. Somebody's in the net. Net violation against Long Beach State. No argument there. Point possession. Back to Andrew Rowan and UCLA. Up 2-0 and on top 8-6 in the third.
That's a tough play for the middle blockers because they're getting spun around underneath the ball. He's right there. I'd rather the right hand of the outside get to that ball and joust or attack, whatever you can do. You don't want to collide with your teammate. Inevitably, someone ends up in the net.
Quick look at Alex Knight wearing number 12, 6'6", redshirt senior. Last year's most outstanding player, 15 kills, a couple of blocks out of Culver City, California. Very unselfish move to the libero. That ball missed out of bounds by Rowan. UCLA with 5 aces on the afternoon, 13 service errors. Once again, mentioned the number beginning of the match. UCLA, they do not fear missing serves. They miss an average of 5%. Very easy serve, way too easy. Good touch by Torwey. What a matchup between McHenry that we've talked about and Torwey. We talked to Simon Torwey yesterday. They're very, very close friends. They love the sport of volleyball. They play the same position. And Simon Torwey was very, very upfront about how close they are as friends off the court.
It's a unique thing about volleyball. Everybody knows each other. You play together on the beach. You play together in club. You played against one another. Played on USA teams together in a lot of cases. It's a small, small world.
What a dig by Champlin, but a magnificent swing by Varga. 3-man block over the top into the corner.
All right, Long Beach is back. They're going to force UCLA to take this one from them. You didn't figure they were going to roll over. This is an experienced crew that's been through a whole lot in the last 4 years.
18-match home winning streak as well. Came from 2 sets down on the overpass. Varga now in positive territory. 8 kills on 17 swings. And the crowd getting back into it. Godbold has been pretty good. Good at the line as well. Good service pressure from number 12. Robinson off of Torwey and out of bounds. High flat swing.
Yeah, giving direction to the ball, even if you go on the block, if you're giving direction to it, the odds that it caroms out of bounds rise dramatically.
Robinson now 8 kills on 16 swings. Very efficient. No errors for the 6'7" sophomore.
I want to start using the right side a little bit more here.
Torwey, that's not coming back. Long Beach State needs a lot more of that, but they got to pass better.
And they'll have to continue connecting with the middle off the net. If you're going to get a lot of passing at 10 feet, you have to find a way to deliver that. Aiden Knight, really nice set that time. Torwey is fairly tight to him. He pushed the ball towards the net without pushing it across Torwey's body. Well done by number 5.
Look out below. Guy Guinness, what a delivery by Rowan on the gap set.
Did you want a good middle battle? Is that what you're looking for?
That's as good as you can do it. That one inside of McRaven. David with 3 aces so far on the afternoon. 54th men's NCAA championship on the line. UCLA looking for 21. Long Beach State looking for number 4. That not the way you draw it up, but McRaven was able to find some real estate.
No, and another quick reaction by Aiden Knight. That ball passed super low right at him. Watch him knuckle it up here. There's the finish to the play. McRaven got up and got just enough to get over the top, but again, Knipe salvages a contact into something hittable.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kevin. If Knipe, if the passing is average, I think he's still got to be forcing it into the middle to McRaven along with Torway. Here's Varga. Into the gap again. Once, twice, perfectly delivered, and good connection between Rowan and Guy Guinness.
This is where that commit might work. With Aiden Knipe in the front row, just send him to follow the middle, face up. As long as you say he's wanting to run some middle, Aiden Knipe, jump at it, and then run the offense from the middle of the court.
Yeah, more sets to the middle. This to McRaven. Ido David got that up. Good read by Varga. And blocked. Champlin along with Guinness and Rowan.
Guinness got that one right into the middle of the block. Not a bad high swing, but you're going into the seam here. That pancake up off the wrist, and then, yeah, just the left hand. That's not a terrible swing.
19 digs now for UCLA. As far as blocks are concerned, that is their 7th for John Speraw, who's going to get 1 day off. He gets tomorrow off, and then he's in the gym with Team USA getting ready for the Olympic Games. The United States has already qualified.
Mason Briggs, number 3 in black, also gets 1 day off, and then he will be in the USA gym. He'll looking to get some time in the VNL this year.
Very, very talented libero. Yep.
Been to World Championships already as a collegiate player.
There's Robinson.
That kind of integration is what I think has raised the level of what we've seen both the final last year, the semifinals this year, the level of this match over the last set and a half, is because a lot of these players are spending a ton of time playing internationally. It becomes tough for John Speraw to manage that. Players come back a little bit broken. That was the case with Andrew Rowan from just too many reps and how to manage your summer and your fall/winter seasons.
Nathan Harlan, wearing number 9 in white on the floor, started the match in place of Godbold and comes right in and delivers an ace. Yeah, the 2 USA teams, both men and women, have qualified for the 2024 Paris Olympic Games, and they train not far from here in Anaheim. Women's team going through a very interesting training block right now against Japan. Japanese national team not yet qualified on the women's side in town. Champlin up into the block twice and rejected twice.
Long Ridge has just needed a little bit of time to get in front of these hitters. So good move there. Nice big strong move from Aiden Knipe here. Triple block. Godbold cheated. It got there. And another well-formed block results in points and energy in the building.
Mason Briggs imploring the crowd to get behind the homestanding 49ers. Oh, look out below. Nathan Harlan never saw that Scud missile. What detonation from Ido David.
I think David's going to catch this one pretty flat. It's tough when it comes at you semi-float. Yeah, there is no spin on that ball. You could read that ball as it hit Harlan in the face.
Where's Freddie Pacheco when you need him?
The cut man.
Godbold, no. Harlan out of the back row, and David can't get there. Really nice tip against the flow. We will step aside. Come to the media timeout. Must-win set situation for Nate Harlan and the Long Beach State 49ers, trailing 2-0.
College sports fans, get ready for game day with officially licensed merchandise from the NCAA official online shop, ncaa.com/shop. Get the whole family geared up with the best collection of apparel and accessories, including t-shirts, sweatshirts, headwear, championship gear, and more. Visit the NCAA shop for today's special offer and rep your favorite team now. Only at ncaa.com/shop.
Our house-made ketchup
Oh, I'm Janet Hines of the Hines family. Yes, that one. I'm sorry, but I can't be seen eating non-Heinz ketchup.
She's sorry, but she can't be seen eating non-Heinz ketchup. Do we have any of her family's ketchup?
Excuse me. I'm Barry Hines.
Kevin, you spoke earlier about how a lot of the players are so close and played together internationally. Well, the coaches are as well. Alan Knipe was the head coach on the 2012 USA Olympic team. John Speraw, one of his assistants. There's Alan on the left of your screen. Now, John Speraw will be coaching his third Olympic Games. That Olympic team, under Coach Knipe's direction, finished fifth. Remember, Ivan Zaitsev went off in the quarterfinals against the United States and advanced. And in 2016, John Speraw and the United States were able to take home the bronze medal. Not so much luck in Tokyo, as they did not advance to the medal round.
Well, that team looking for a little redemption here this summer. But played, I think, their most complete tournament recently when they qualified for the Olympic Games. So things looking up for Team USA, both on the men's side and on the women's side. If you wanted to be Karch Kiraly before, you don't want to be Karch Kiraly right now, I'll tell you that. Now is not the time. Karch Kiraly has a incredibly talented gym, perhaps the most talented gym the USA has ever had. And he has to make some tough choices about who to take to that 13-person roster in Tokyo, Paris. Where am I going?
Been there, done that. It'll be our fifth Olympics together. How time flies.
I guess he didn't say Rio or London or Beijing.
Opening ceremonies on the 26th of July. That's off of Rowan. Smart play by Clark Godbold.
Godbold's been a spark plug here for Long Beach. Came in, had a couple of big kills, some big block moves, been steady in defense, and now Long Beach leads.
Off the top of the block, and there is the matchup. 12 feet 3 inches vertical touch for Merrick McHenry. 12 feet 1 inch for Simon Torway.
For those that don't have an idea how high that is, the top of the box, the drawn box on a backboard is 11 feet. Top of the board, that's near what, 12.6-ish? They're nearly touching the top of the backboard.
Tied at 16. Here's Champlin. Tight pass.
Oh, this is going to be an interesting so I think Aiden Knipe is below the level of the net, perhaps, when that ball hits him in the head. He pulled his arm down. Oh, that is really close.
See, Aiden Knipe, as a back row player, cannot be above the plane of the net.
And I think UCLA might have netted there as well. You should throw the challenge card if you're Alan Knipe. I think Aiden pulls his hand. Whether he's above the level of the net or not is questionable, and there may have been a net.
Aiden Knipe is in the backcourt. Got to be below the plane of the net, and the ruling by the first referee was that his head was above the plane of the net when the ball did contact his back. Very tight call at an incredibly important juncture. Aziz sprinting for the dig. Free ball to the Bruins. Must have for Long Beach. Varga off the edge of the block and down. Tied at 17. Long Beach State trailing 2-0. Must have it. Big swing by Varga, who started very, very slowly, as did the rest of the Long Beach State 49ers. Offensively, he now has 9 kills on 19 swings. As a team, Long Beach State only hitting $174.
Good spot for Long Beach to make a run. 3 hitters in the front row, and Godbold has been powerful from the line.
And misses that one. Taking a big risk against the Bruins, who have been clearly a superior team in serve reception. They've been in system an awful lot. McHenry back at the line, 7 of 8 in attacking, hitting .750 to go along with 4 digs and 3 blocks. Torway forced the middle, no question about it. You talked about it right at the beginning of this set, Kevin.
If your left sides aren't working, you got to go middle and right side. We've seen a substantial amount of middle. And another good serving rotation for the Beach.
Torwey is 5 of 8 with no errors, hitting over 600. Good pass by Champlin, right side, missed out of bounds by David, who just cannot find it offensively off the right side.
John Spraw's looking for a timeout, he gets it.
Timeout called by the Bruins. Ido David, remember his usual backup, Grant Sloan, is out with an ankle injury, suffered in warm-ups. He's 5 of 15 with 6 errors, hitting negative. I want to remind everybody tomorrow's Sunday night baseball matchup, the 3rd game of a 4-game series between the Giants and Bryce Harper and the Philadelphia Phillies at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Radio. Our coverage begins at 6:30 Eastern and 3:30 Pacific with baseball tonight. Sunday night countdown coming your way. Back with Kevin Barnett. I'm Paul Sunderland. Big weekend of volleyball. The Women's College Beach Championships going on in Gulf Shores, Alabama. The finals tomorrow at set between USC, looking for their 4th in a row, and UCLA, the same as the last championship played for the Pac-12 title.
And word has it, down there in Gulf Shores, they were rushing off the beach to come and see the men's final. Check it out and see what was happening. It is a fantastic day if you are a volley dork.
The beach championship has been very well hosted by Gulf Shores since its inception for the last several years, and next year it'll be moving to nearby Huntington Beach. UCLA and USC for the Women's Beach Volleyball Championship coming up tomorrow on ESPN. Coming out of the timeout, Alex Knight trying to keep Ido David loose and relaxed. It has been a tough afternoon for him offensively. The best serving weapon for Long Beach State at the line, and he needs to be there for a while, if he can. Coming to Robinson. What an angle. That ball was pretty quick. Cooper Robinson with another kill, having a spectacular match, 9 on 18.
And that is from 13 feet off the net. What I love about this is it's inside. It's not set to the pin. It's not shot to the pin. It's lofted inside towards the net. That makes it easier for the outside hitter to pick it off going from left to right.
David with 3 aces on the afternoon. Harlan off the block and out of bounds. A fortuitous swing into a 3-man block.
But I really like what Harlan's done here this entire week. I like the energy that he's bringing. He's just taking high, hard cuts. That time he's trying to go high, flat off the line with that shot. And he's also playing with the crowd a little bit. They need the crowd. They need the energy.
Another out-of-system swing and missed out of bounds. UCLA looking for a touch. None was called. We may have a challenge.
We'll see. Talked out of it. Talked out of it was John Spraw. He was going to leap for the card. He was talked out of it. Now he's going to use a timeout.
Timeout called by UCLA. Long Beach State on top 21-19. Won back-to-back. Did Long Beach State 2018 and 2019. Those wonderful teams. TJ DeFalco, Kyle Insing, along with Josh Tuaniga.
Yeah, where have those guys been recently?
They've been playing a lot of volleyball for the United States.
Indeed. Now Rado on the right-hand side for Hawaii at that point. There have been some terrific heavyweight fights over the last few years. Really a treat if you're a fan of the game, the men's game. There has been championship match after championship match featuring top shelf players who are playing now internationally for another 10 years.
Rado Paraponov, I hadn't seen that. And remember Alex Nikolov, of course? He was going to come back and play at Long Beach State after he was freshman and National Player of the Year until he got offered $500,000 to go play in Italy. And he said, Coach Knipe, I'm really sorry, but I'm gone. I'm out of here.
He called Coach Knipe crying and had to tell him that he had accepted a boatload of money from Italy and Macerata. Oh, okay. I don't think it's anything to cry about, but I get it. He was set on coming back, but the game is an international one now. And Nikolov, that was another, and I think the most extreme example of a pro player still in college. Hilaire Heno from Irvine this year is also close to that level. Same kind of efficiency and capability.
You might well see Eno on the court for France at the upcoming Paris Olympics. France, the defending Olympic champions on the men's side. Here is Varga. Long Beach State, again, must have it. Up by 2. Good pass, perfect pass. And right over the top. Cooper Robinson making his claim to be the most outstanding player, but Andrew Rowan has set, in my opinion, a magnificent match so far.
Yeah, that's a good point about being player of the match. 10 of 26. Oh, no, pardon me. Cooper Robinson, 10 of 20, 450. As both he and Champlin have 10 kills now.
McRaven available on a good pass. Dug by David. Not a good set. Rare setting mistake for Rowan. Out of the back row, Godbold. Clark Godbold with a heavy arm. Good choice by Knight.
Heavy arm is exactly how you would describe Clark Godbold. He can take 2 walking steps and hit the ball 85 miles an hour at you.
No setter on the floor right now for Long Beach State. Nate Dickinson has come on to block, wearing number 18 in white.
So you have to talk about who's going to set in transition.
Got to serve in here. Champlin off the edge of the block and down. Touch side out by the Bruins. Champlin now in double figures, 10 kills on 26 swings. Make it 11. Thank you, Barney. 3 digs and 5 blocks. 5 blocks for Champlin.
Yeah, 5-tool athlete.
Coleman McDonough out of Pittsburgh will come on once again for the Bruins. And going back to the opening set, he keyed that red zone run for the Bruins. 4-0 run for UCLA to close out the opening set, 25-21.
Coaches spend a lot of time worrying about how good their team is over 20.
Into the middle. Choice was right, but the connection not there. Better block. Huge switch block by McRaven, along with some help from Godbold.
Godbold again. Good read. Commitment to that 3-man block, taking away the angles. It's McRaven with the right hand.
It is loud in here, Barney. Had you noticed?
My ears noticed on Thursday, too.
Standing room only crowd at the Pyramid, the home of the Long Beach State 49ers. McHenry. It's a good thing he can go up to the penthouse because he had to wait on that one. Again, touches 12-3. Andrew Rowan back at the line. Torrey now in the front court. Varga inside, dug by Rowan. Champlin takes a look at the block, tries to recycle, and gets the ball down inside.
That might be just the break UCLA needed.
All Champlin is trying to do there is throw it up into the block, and he got a little bit lucky if you're a UCLA fan. That waterfall down inside, and now we're tied at 23. Must win for Long Beach State. Comes in at 27-2, UCLA 25-5. The top 2 seeds in this 54th NCAA Men's Championship. These 2 coaches have so much in common. Both have coached their alma mater to a national championship. Both has won a national championship as a player and a coach, and both have coached at the Olympic Games.
John's had an interesting story, being a player winning 2 titles, then being assistant coach for Alice Gates before building his own program at Irvine, building that thing into a perennial championship contender. Then, fortunately for him, that job opening up at just the right moment and getting to take over and be the second coach in the history of the UCLA men's volleyball program.
And Alan Knipe is the second coach ever at Long Beach State, following Ray Rattel. Yeah, John Speraw, the only coach, the only player coach in NCAA volleyball history to win as a player, which he did twice, an assistant coach, which he did 3 times, and also as a head coach, which he has done 4 times. 3 at UC Irvine and 1 at UCLA.
Perfect pass. I'm going Torway. If the ball is passed towards 4, towards the left-hand side, I'm going overhead to Skylar Varga.
Alan Knipe on the other side won a championship as a player in 1991. That was the first for Long Beach State. He has coached them to 2 titles in 2018 and 2019.
Pretty good for a guy who never intended to coach.
Pretty good. He said he has won the game of volleyball. He is a lifer, no doubt about it, here at his alma mater. Service winner for Andrew Rowan. And now championship point for the UCLA Bruins. Timeout called by Long Beach State. Rowan with his 40th ace on the year.
And he has gone back and just banged the ball with confidence this entire trip to the service line. I think that's a function of not only who he is and who he came in to be at UCLA, but also last year. What was drawn out of them last year in that final to take that victory? Rowan had a lot of growing up to do, just naturally coming into that position, being in that moment. And now, already only just a sophomore, playing with the same level of confidence you're used to seeing in a senior or a redshirt senior. What an extraordinary thing for him to go back to the line and push that ace for the comeback performance here in set 3.
And you made such an excellent point about Andrew Rowan when he came in. I don't want to say he replaced Miles Partain, but he came to UCLA in spite of the fact that Partain was there.
Oh, he came to be the starter.
Right, but that's my point. Partain was the MPSF, the Conference Player of the Year, National Freshman of the Year, and yet Andrew Rowan came in and said, I'm going to take that job. So the great point you made is when Partain stepped aside, Rowan wasn't handed anything. He earned the starting job for John Spera at UCLA. 13 ties, 5 lead changes, championship point. Sipanis is coming back on now, replacing Harlan. Sipanis, a very, very good receiver. He, like a lot of the 49ers, have struggled so far on the afternoon. Vargas has got it going. Rowan now with 40 aces, championship point number 1. Godbold, tough swing against 3 blockers. Oh, he got it down. That swing was golden.
Hey, you don't roll for championships, and you don't roll to stave off set winners.
Tied at 24. Rama is on, dunked by Sipanis.
A confident shot from Clark Godbold. Set point.
Rama on the left side. McHenry is dug, but out of bounds.
What a read by Mason Briggs. The Sipanis behind him. They were all over it.
Ethan Champlin, 3-time All-American, back to serve.
Go to Godbold. He's on the right.
Good pass by Sipanis. Block deflection by McHenry. And a little confusion by UCLA. Did not get a swing at it, and Varga will take it.
Yeah, that's the perfect reaction, because you should have hit that ball. You can't set it over. 99 times out of 100, that thing gets transitioned right back in your face.
Set point number 2. Zach Rama goes back to the sideline. Long Beach with a look. To Torway. Out of the back row. Godbold missed it out of bounds.
That's absolutely the right set. Absolutely the right set, the right play, the right guy. Just didn't work out.
Godbold got Long Beach State to this position, but I agree with you, Kevin. That was a really good choice. You got to find the court.
If I'm UCLA, I cheat to the right side for Long Beach right now. Commit on the middle.
Chipanis with a good pass.
That's fine. That's fine. In that situation, you make him beat you.
What a clutch pass and kill by Satoris Chipanis. And UCLA does a really good job of screening the server. He had to find his way through the traffic. Set point number 3 with Torwi at the line. Right side to David. Wow, that was an interesting choice.
No, but what a set. You almost can't deliver it better than that. We're back to the high-level volleyball
that we had on Thursday night in the semifinals. Andrew Rowan with an absolute dish over his head to Ido David.
Long Beach going to pass with 3 here. Look like 4. They're going to stay with 3. A lot of straight ahead into this gap where Knipe is standing.
David missed it out of bounds. Set point again, number 4. This time for Skylar Varga and Long Beach State.
So Guinness has been getting a little bit of a streak here. We've got Knipe in the front row against Cooper. I'm going to Robinson. Left side.
Champlin, perfect pass. And on the gap again. Stuff! McRaven with the stuff. And Long Beach State, when they had to have it, got off the deck. Took them 4 set chances. They win it 29-27.
Another gutty performance by the Beach. Clark Godbold gave them what they needed. Energy and some points. Beautiful finish in the middle. Yeah, everyone wants more of this. Let's play another.
So what do you think? Maybe I can handle this after all.
I knew you'd get there. Some things just take time.
Thank you.
You're doing so great. You got this.
When we discover the power that's in our hands, we find the tools to create, the motivation to make, and the confidence to build. Because when we build, we become stronger than the tools we carry and show future generations the power in their hands.
It's the final 3 episodes.
3 words. Wow. Wow. Wow.
And with this kind of talent, idols never your favorites sing and dance for the top spot.
You trying to out-gyrate me?
Superstar Sierra mentors. Megan Trainor performs live. And your votes decide who will be in the top 5.
That was my favorite.
Idol Live Coast to Coast ABC Sunday and stream on Hulu.
Never seen it like this before. Whoa, think you wanna get that, get that. Got him coming back for more. I'ma bring the wow.
Get 2.9% APR financing for up to 48 months on the GV80, exclusively at your local Genesis retailers.
Depend keeps you drier than ever, so you can say yes to more than ever.
Yes! Yes. Yes. No.
Depend. The only thing stronger than us is you.
Hey, it's me, your dry skin. We go through a lot every day and lose ceramides my barrier needs to seal in moisture. CeraVe facial moisturizers, developed with dermatologists, continuously deliver 3 essential ceramides to help restore my protective barrier so I can lock in moisture. With CeraVe, we can feel hydrated and look healthy all day.
CeraVe Facial Moisturizing Lotions from the #1 dermatologist-recommended skincare brand.
Welcome back to Long Beach, California, home for a long, long time of the Queen Mary. a classic destination, and we've had a classic match so far, 29-27. Long Beach State up against it, and Kevin, they finally got their offense going after hitting below 200 in the first couple of sets. They rebounded and hit 367 in the third in a must-win situation. What did they turn around? What did they change?
Well, Clark Godbold gave them a little bit of energy, and they also managed to get that defense going. They had on the outside, remember we were talking about Ethan Champlin and Cooper Robinson going off. Robinson still hitting 450, 10 of 20, so those are good numbers. But Ethan Champlin, after the last set, he was 9 of 18, hitting 444. In this last set, he went 3 of 11 with 3 errors, hit 0 for the set. So you took away one of the main weapons, and you got a little bit of energy and weaponry on your side. That's just enough to eke out the deuce set victory.
And the aforementioned Champlin will go back to the line. Yeah, Long Beach State started figuring out some of his he's got a tremendous repertoire in terms of off speed, and he can bring the hammer. You've seen that, but they're dialed in right now as far as a blocking and defensive unit against number 20 for UCLA, back with two-time Olympian Kevin Barnett on Paul Sunderland. Almost gave you 3 there, Barney.
No extra. You don't get any extra Olympics.
Just being generous. Here's Champlin to start things off. Must win again for Long Beach State. And Simon Torwey towering over the UCLA blockers matched up against McHenry. McHenry's been a little bit quiet. The combination between McHenry and Rowan, a lot of off speed. That hasn't been that clean so far on the afternoon. Smart to get Torwey back to the line early on. Very dangerous server. Say no more.
This is where it can start to get out of hand, too. You have a tough server. You have a team that's up off the deck again. Used to being there. They're not scared. It's no problem for Long Beach. And you got the crowd in their home building. There's a lot of positive factors for Long Beach right now to push this to a 5th set.
Long Beach again came from 2-6 down on Thursday night in the semifinal before they took out Grand Canyon. A couple of classic semifinal matches.
So Merrick McHenry needs more opportunities when he's in the front row next time. He's 9 of 10, Paul. And I think he pushed it a little bit too much. God Guinness, that last play at the end of the 3rd set, you had set a bunch of gap. You have your best hitter, percentage-wise in this match, against the smallest blocker the other team has, and you don't set him? That's just simple volleyball. You don't overthink it at those last moments. Sometimes volleyball is very basic. Throw it to your best person against whomever they have.
Agree with you completely. We were talking about it in the commercial break in between sets. And Cooper Robinson, who's having a spectacular championship match, was matched up against Aiden Knight. And you just try to a little bit too clever by half. David at the line. He's been really good as a server. 3 aces. And he's kept the ball in a lot, and as I mentioned, that just out of bounds. UCLA has been much better in serve receive throughout the course of the match. Long Beach State clearly much better in the 3rd. They sided out at 74% and hit 367 as a team. Godbold has really given Long Beach State a lift. Robinson off the edge of the block and out of bounds. Boy, is he having an afternoon in Long Beach. Cooper Robinson from Pacific Palisades, went to Pali High School. Ricky Ludes, Dave Saunders, Steve Sammons, Chris Marlowe, all Olympians that went to Pacific Palisades.
I had Chris Marlowe on my bingo card. Thanks, Paul. I think I just won something.
Glad to contribute. Ball set too tight and into the antenna. Yeah, unforced error for Long Beach State. Give you some of the offensive leaders. Varga, in spite of that mistake there, 10 kills on 22 swings. Clark Godbold off the bench, 7 of 13. Chapanis is 7 of 18. Simon Torwey is 6 of 10.
I'd like to see a lot more down the middle offense coming from Long Beach. Go to Godbold, out of the back row.
McRaven is slowed. Chapanis going high flat, off the block and out of bounds. Good swipe.
Now, when I say that, when they're in perfect offensive rhythm, when they pass the ball reasonably well, anything perfect to 8 feet off, I'd like to see him go down the middle. John Sprouse said Long Beach is the best down the middle offensive team in the nation, but we haven't seen a lot of it. We've seen very little Vic, a couple of big moments, but nothing consistent.
Well, and you speak of that, I don't think Long Beach State's serve receive has been consistent. They're out of the middle. Cooper Robinson again, number 11 in blue.
Right, but you can still run down the middle even when it isn't perfect.
I agree. I agree with you. Guy Guinness will go back to serve, one of 2 starters on UCLA's team from Israel. It's been a very, very difficult time for these 2 athletes, given all the unrest. Any Israel or take your pick pro-Hamas sentiment around the country, and particularly at UCLA. Nice kill off the right side. UCLA has been in the headlines not only in the country but worldwide, given the demonstrations there. If you're wondering, the UCLA team came down to Long Beach last Sunday, so fortunately for these 2 Israeli athletes, they were able to distance themselves from a lot of that unrest. There was a demonstration here on Thursday night. Thankfully, the security here at Long Beach State did a really good job keeping them out of the building. Skylar Varga wants to challenge that ball, whether that ball was in or out. Once again, you get 3 challenges as long as you're correct. You have basically an infinite number. You can challenge ball in or out, foot fault on the 3-meter line, on the service line. You can challenge ball up or down, a touch off a blocker. And this is challenging ball in or out. That ball's out. That ball is out of bounds. Yeah, very close. That's a really good look by our crew. Thank you very much. And that ball is out of bounds. So Long Beach State will be down to 2 challenges. If we do go to a 5th set, you do get an additional challenge. So tied at 6. If you're just joining us, shame on you. 25-21. UCLA won the opening set. UCLA won the second, 25-20. And all credit to Alan Knipe. He pushed a lot of buttons. He had players going in and out here at the Pyramid. Yep, the home for Long Beach State. And the 49ers got on the board 29-27. Torwig. Not great heat on that. David off the block and out of bounds. Really good transition set that time by Robinson.
It's the off plays that make a big difference. And for an outside hitter, part of your job generally is to put up a nice hittable ball to the other pin when you're called on to set. Cooper Robinson delivers there.
Once again, Cooper Robinson, the nephew of one St. John and Patty Smith.
Also the son of Bob and Leanne. Let's not sell them short. Bob, water polo player at UCLA.
Yep. Twin brother of Patty. Smart shot off the block by Champlin, and you pointed out Long Beach State block defense had done a very, very good job on Champlin in the 3rd set, slowed him down significantly.
That's a break there for UCLA. That was a less than ideal opportunity. There's St. John Smith.
139 beach volleyball victories, an Olympian as well in 1996 in Atlanta with Carl Hinkle. We'll step aside. UCLA on top, trying to close out their 21st national championship.
So what do you think? Maybe I can handle this after all.
I knew you'd get there. Some things just take time.
Thank you.
You're doing so great. You got this.
Ego, the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power, brings you the Select Cut mower. Customize the cut with 3 interchangeable blades. It cuts for over an hour on a single charge. Ego, exclusively at Lowe's, Ace, and Ego authorized dealers.
Phone call from the boss? Sorry. Outdoor time. It's me time.
I hear that. That's why we protect all your vehicles here. But hey, nothing wrong with sticking it to the boss.
Oh, Flo, you gonna take that? Why would that concern me? Because you're the... Aren't you the...
Men's volleyball championship started in 1970. It was won by UCLA over these same Long Beach State 49ers. Stanford's got a couple. Your alma mater. The great Marv Dunphy has 5, USC with 4, along with UC Irvine. And you see around the country UCLA with a gaudy 20.
Marv Dunphy actually has 4. Because on your list of Alan Knipe and
Rod Wild
John
had
Spraw
one.
is also Rod Wild. When Marv Dunphy took a year's sabbatical to work on his doctorate. Where'd he go to get his doctorate? Come on, Paul Sunderland. This is like a little-known fact. This is deep trivia.
Should I know that?
BYU.
Okay.
There you go.
Coming out of the timeout. And Andrew Rowan, who's been superb. First-team All-American this year once again. Just a sophomore. Sotiris Shapanis back to serve.
Well, Long Beach could really use him getting going here.
Well, he's been kept under wraps most of the afternoon from the service line and attacking. Right side by Champlin. Very nice dig by Varga. Got bowled off the block and down.
And another nice delivery from Knight. High ball, no tempo to it. Perfectly placed up and down. Let your heavy-armed outside take a cut. Sometimes it's just simple. Look, don't do anything fancy. Let the guy who has the arm do some work.
Godbold now 8 kills on 15 swings coming off the bench. Overpass to Torway, look out! Chapani's had 29 aces on the year, but delivered that on a platter to the big German.
That's how you take care of an overpass.
Pretty good little mini run. Chapani's got the crowd back involved, tied at 9. Chapani's also a first-team All-American. What a year. Hit .351 as an outside. Good pass. Good cover by McHenry along with Champlin. Mason Briggs.
This is the heavyweight championship we signed up for, Paul.
Wow. Look out below. What a stuff. Merrick McHenry, number 13 in blue. Good pass again by Chapanis. Godbold right on the sideline. Really good, accurate attacking.
Yeah, and as powerful as Clark can be at the end, he's always had this little chop game to him. That beach-raised Palos Verdes little chopper. He'll eat you up in a variety of different ways.
That Palos Verdes chopper can be really effective.
Did you ever have that one?
No, I haven't. Coming left side to Robinson. 3 blockers. Off speed, and McRaven skies to tap that one down.
It's getting a little chippy out there. There's some looks through the net at each other. Chapanis gave the crowd a digit at one point.
Cooper Robinson goes to the sideline, replaced by Zach Rama. A lot of people think Rama would have been an All-American if he had gone anyplace else. He'll be the starter next year. 6'8" sophomore out of Phoenix, and missed out of bounds. Robinson, 12 kills on 24 swings, hit .417, and he just got taken out.
Well, I know that they have the starter and reliever a la baseball situation going in that position with Robinson and Rama, but I don't like it right now. I don't like it at all. You can't hit .417 and get subbed out.
Chapanis is passing spectacularly right now. Really receiving serve well. Back row quick combination. Chapanis both receiving and attacking.
Yeah, run it down the middle, and that's run into the gap as well. Puts a lot of pressure on that right front blocker. He's got 3 hitters then in his zone. You generally have the middle there. You have your responsibilities with their left side attack, and you also now have a middle attack coming at you. You're really not sure where to go and where to react, and you're playing catch up to the play.
Both teams now with 9 blocks, 29 and 28 digs respectively. That ball, that's going to be a back row blocker.
Well, it has to be one or the other. You either have to be over or it has to be a back row setter.
McRaven going after it. Missed reception that time by UCLA. Aiden Knipe in the backcourt. Strength up front for Long Beach State. Very easy serve. Right side to David.
So Ito David is hitting under 100. even after that attack, which is all the more mystery to me as to why you take Cooper Robinson out. It shows a lot of faith in Zach Rama, but I'd go with what you already know tonight.
I agree with that. Cooper Robinson's been having a spectacular afternoon. David misses that, and the crowd lets him know. 14-12 is the advantage. 20 service errors now for UCLA. Right on schedule, they average 5%. We're in the fourth.
There you go. Dogboy's been good here.
And he returns the favor. 14-13. UCLA won the first couple of sets, and then Long Beach State got off the deck bravely. What a good comeback. Alan Knight pushed all the right buttons, and they won the third 29-27. Here is Rama, hitting 370 on the year. Good pass. Rowan with the first contact. Smart shot. Very, very deep, deep double scoop dish. That time by Rama. The crowd didn't like it.
Well, if they didn't like that, they shouldn't like the contact on the other side, the second contact.
Yeah,
personally, I could care less about either one. I want play to continue, but that set right there, you need to throw a high ball. Don't set pace to the outside. You got lucky that you have number 20 out there, Champlin. Take care of it.
Tough serve. Inside the block. Brilliant swing against 3 Bruins.
So Azizer is playing for the ball off the top of the block. He's playing deep corner. He's looking for the high flat. Earlier in this match, the first rally of this match, Aziz went inside the block, made a huge move inside the block and dug that ball. Here he's playing for a different result.
Chapani's now in double figures with 10 kills. David again. Heavy heat off the right side.
Where's Chapani's going? You can't play it off the media table.
He's going to Cyprus. It's just down the road.
You cannot, just to be clear, board the media table, jump off of it to play a ball.
You have to have 1 foot in contact with the playing surface.
I don't know where he's headed there. Get a hot dog, a la Pat Powers, maybe.
Varga is blocked again by McHenry.
You just have to go somewhere else. A little inside out. Varga needs to get around that ball so he can go line. That ball, he did not get his feet inside of the position of the ball. It's not on his right shoulder, it's on his left shoulder. There's almost no way he can turn that thing away from McHenry.
McHenry having such an efficient afternoon, 9 of 10 attacking, hitting 800. He does have 1 error. 5 blocks to go along with 5 digs. Smart shot by Rowan. Chapanis looking to chop off the block. That ball looked like it was down. David credited with the dig. Champlin wants to go fast. McHenry off the edge.
McHenry with the Gumby arm that time. There has to be a wire in that position there.
Well, who's the superhero that kind of like stretches out?
I'm trying to think of the old toy. So he kind of punches this one over the top of his head. That is a very awkward swing and an excellent adaptation by Merrick McHenry.
17-15. Ethan Champlin out of Oceanside, California. 19 kills in the semifinals to go along with 13 digs. Another big afternoon. Chapanis. And again against 3 blockers. What a dig! Rama patrolling in the back row. Heavy duty joust. Champlin through the block and down.
So the dig is one thing. What a reaction by Rama. And then you're going to get the joust here, and who's going to do the setting? It's Ido David overhead all the way across the court for the delivery. The little things done by players doing things that are not their primary responsibility.
4-0 run for David, Champlin, and UCLA, forcing a timeout for Long Beach State 49ers.
And Bert Fuller checking in. Stretch Armstrong would be who you were thinking of, Paul. Thanks, Bert.
Big race day coming up tomorrow. The next stop on the Formula One schedule is the 3rd annual Crypto.com Miami Grand Prix at the Miami International Autodrome at Hard Rock Stadium. Our coverage begins tomorrow afternoon at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, where the Grand Prix Sunday starts at 4 p.m. Eastern. One, of course, here on the West Coast on ABC, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Plus. Back with our entire ESPN crew, my partner Kevin Barnett, two-time Olympian and All-American at Pepperdine. And this has turned into the battle that we expected after Thursday night's magnificent semifinals. It was all UCLA. In the first 2 sets, winning at 25-21, 25-20, and holding Long Beach State way below their season average in terms of hitting efficiency. But Long Beach State rebounded. They won the 3rd set 29-27 and hit close to 350, which is their average.
Well, I'm going to say, Paul, if you think that you joined this a little bit late and you go, oh, UCLA was dominating and then just kind of gave back that 3rd set. No, the 3rd set was tight. And Long Beach did win that. Now, UCLA had its chances, right? They had a championship point. But Long Beach was in that set from start to finish, where they were not in that second.
Took them 4 set points to close it out. UCLA did have one opportunity to win their 21st championship. Guy Guinness at the line. Very easy serve. That's a lollipop. Surprised you didn't go to Torway. Good block touch. Champlin, quick off the left side. Good swing. That ball was set pretty tight. Must have for Long Beach State. And they got it.
Here's what an aggressive libero can do. Here's what a guy playing his position at a high level can create for you, our offensive chances. Mason Briggs, watch him knife in here when this ball comes over the net. He's backed up, he reads it and takes it away from the opposite Varga, who at least then becomes somewhat of a weapon. And usually it's the setter who's in close like that. Excellent job by Briggs.
3-time All-American is number 3 in the libero jersey for Long Beach State. Nate Harlan back on for the 49ers, trailing by 2. Chupani's feeling it. Unforced error out of the back row. The combination and connection not there between Rowan and Rama. 18-17.
And Rama's 0 for 3 since he came on the floor offensively. Now, he did some nice things from the service line, but Cooper Robinson is 12 for 24. If I'm Cooper, I'm staying warm. And if I'm John, I don't know that I want to lean on exclusively at this point Ethan Champlin, who got shut down in that 3rd set. And then your opposite, who's been wildly up and down, and Ido David.
NBA action continues tomorrow afternoon. We'll have Game 7 between the Orlando Magic and the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's in Cleveland, 1 Eastern on ABC and the ESPN app. The winners get the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference semifinals. The NBA Countdown crew tips things off. Our coverage will begin at 12:30. Thanks so much for joining us here at the Pyramid in Long Beach. Long Beach State has won 18 in a row in this building. These two teams played twice, once here on February 9th, once at Pauley Pavilion on February 10th, and each winning on their home floor.
We had a nice visit yesterday with Alan Knipe, head coach there at Long Beach, and Alan said that his dad was a machinist. He coached soccer and stuff too, but he was a machinist, emigrated from Ireland, and said, when I come home from coaching, when I started coaching, I didn't want to coach. I ended up at Golden West making $9K for the entire season, coaching junior college locally here, and come home and be upset and want to vent a little bit about what I was doing. His dad would say, listen, you go to work in your pajamas and you coach volleyball. There's nothing to complain about here. He's like, man, I can't even at home, I can't even vent here.
Yeah, it was was a very, very nice visit with both coaches. All the coaches are very generous with their time and just sharing a lot of background information, personal information. That was a very interesting story. And hired by Ray Rattel, spent several years as an assistant before taking over as the head coach 21 years ago. Champlin again. What a dig by Briggs.
Knight with the read there. The other libero doing work.
And Dickinson out on the outside, number 18. Nate Dickinson doing a fantastic job battling with Champlin at the net, and how clever he is. Tied at 18, getting near the red zone.
Don't dump. Do not dump right now.
Briggs now with 7 digs. Spectacular at the libero. That's a big miss. And really let UCLA off the hook.
We'll never know if it would have happened. Sometimes centers get in that situation where nothing's working and they decide that they're going to take matters into their own hands.
We had a pretty good matchup. You had Dickinson doing work against Ethan Champlin, and you had no setter on the floor for Long Beach State. There's Dickinson. Jousted 2, 3, 4 times with one of the most clever attackers in college volleyball in Champlin, number 20. Here's Rowan back to serve. UCLA back on top by 1. Chipanis again. He's been real. Remember you talked about in the semifinals, he was up, then he was down. He's really up right now in multiple phases.
Yeah, he's in rhythm. So he passes this ball right into his approach. Big gather and then a nice high attack. He's just in a good rhythm with the ball. Sometimes you get out of rhythm and then you can get yourself back in. Doesn't always happen inside of a match.
10th tie of this, the 4th set. Back-to-back service errors. First by Harlan and now by Sotiris Chipanis.
But this kind of guy can draw on some energy. He thrives on some conflict. I asked him yesterday, he was calling a ball in when the other guys were in the drill and the ball was actually out. And I said, what are you doing? Trying to cause problems? He said, always. Always. He's an instigator.
Look at him pass the ball. And Torway off the edge. Chipanis has taken his game to another level in first contact as well as attacking. Really was struggling early on, now leading the way with 12 kills on 31 swings. Rama stays on. And Simon Torway, 6'11", 250 pounds. Rama again, over the top of the block, number 21 in blue.
And he chopped that one just over Knipe. So you can hit line without actually hitting line. That time off the middle blocker. And then watch this, he's gonna chop it, but it's gonna go over the top of number 5, but to the middle of the court.
Free ball for UCLA.
Have to convert it.
Rama again. Andrew Rowan just loves to play so fast to the pins.
Alan Knipe, no way to stop this.
Out of timeouts, yes. McRaven has no chance against that kind of speed. That ball drifts out of bounds. Big break for Long Beach State. Knipe now rotates to the back row.
So you're going to have Godbold blocking against David. I like that matchup less if I'm UCLA. I like the left side. Rowan. Yep, to Rowan. That's the matchup.
Good call, Barney. Zach Rama started out a little bit slowly, but he's heating it up now. He's got a froth going. Beautiful delivery again, right on target by Andrew Rowan. UCLA 2 points away from number 21.
Mariano Rivera might be in the building here.
You got your starter and you've got your reliever. You got
closer.
Yeah, your closer.
Yeah, no middle reliever. You're going right to the closer.
David with 3 aces on the afternoon. Oh, look out. Varga came under. the ball was set tight. Skylar Varga lost his body control and collided with one of the Bruins under the net. Everybody seems to be okay. That's a very dangerous play. 3 match points for the Bruins. Oh yeah, Varga is way, way under. That's so fortunate that nobody got hurt. Took UCLA from 2006 until last year to get number 20. They're looking to go back to back. Match point, championship point. What a dig by Champlin. Varga's got to take care of it. Oh, he missed it out of bounds. The back-to-back streak continues.